I spent an hour today trying to figure out how to get my washing machine to text me when it's done with the cycle. So that's where we're at.
Does it have an API?
It actually does, but it's terrible. Like LG kind of like abandoned support for it.
Oh yeah, so, LG's APIs are an absolute piece of garbage.
So like Quad Code very gamely rallied to the challenge and said, okay, well, I think I have a way to intercept the token off of Google authorization for LG so that I can like, get into their API that way. So we did that.
You could have just installed Home Assistant, you know. You're going there. I'll just forewarn you.
Fair enough.
You're going to be a Home Assistant guy now.
Yeah, okay. Probably.
But the nice thing is Claude Code knows how to run that really well too.
Hey, we're currently an Amazon Echo household, which I honestly don't feel great about, but we're kind of locked in. So
I am a HomeKit deviant because it was the easiest, least, I was going to say least expensive, but least painful way to get started with that stuff. But now there's like two running in tandem and both can see half of it. And I'm the only one who's ever going to understand it. My wife doesn't even try. It's great.
You've got like an empire divided in your house now.
So they can sort of talk to one another, but only if you set them up. You have to be like, HomeKit, go over here. And then I'm just like, no, this is too much work, especially because the washing machine is a piece of shit Samsung anyway. So I don't need text messages from it.
I don't have any of that. I don't have an Amazon Echo. I don't have HomeKit. I don't have any smart thermostat, even nothing.
I mean, I got the HomeKit stuff for the cameras because HomeKit does secure like encrypted storage for your cameras. So like it's encrypted the same way as like iCloud. And I have a wood shop. So there are many expensive tools and very easily broken windows. So it's probably best to at least have something.
Yeah. Did you hardwire your cameras or are you battery powered?
Oh, they're all USB cameras. So like they're all plugged into various power points. But
interesting. That sounds like a fun one at some point to do. Just camera the hell out of the place. But I haven't. It's an investment of time that just isn't justified by our threat matrix. So
yeah, I mean, I have a couple of outside cameras now because last winter somebody just came up and like rolled our cars just like we did. We were not locking the doors consistently. And somebody just decided to go rustle through the center consoles of our cars. And so I put up a couple cameras just for household peace of mind type of deals. But everything else has always been inside or like watching the dogs in the back. The dog cameras are actually pretty nice. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just can't leave Marlowe unsupervised. Moose is fine out there. He'll like just find a sun puddle to lie in, occasionally bark at stuff. Marlowe is insufferable because he's deaf, so he really gets bad separation anxiety. And when you leave him out in the backyard long enough, he will decide to protest this by finding the stinkiest thing he can, which is usually his own feces, and covering himself in it in a thick layer. It's not great, so we have to be really good about instantly letting him inside when he scratches, otherwise we run the risk of poopification.
I ended up, so one of my dogs, for those who do not know on the internet, I have the most photogenic dog in the world and one who is not. But Lady the Husky decided she likes to dig now.
Oh no.
The good news is I had a saga with like the outdoor fences at this house when I bought it, and then finally had to go redo the back fence. So I buried 1.5 foot of chicken wire, and now she's not digging anymore. But she's decided that now in her middle age she's going to be a barking dog. Mm-hmm. Only she's a husky, so she's not good at it, right? It's more like a borp than a bark. And I'm just out here like, okay, I guess she finally wants to come in after 2 hours of just sitting on the snow staring at the back fence. It's like, this is an okay life, but like...
Do you think she longs for the sled? Is this...
No. If you have her on a leash, she's just like, I'm not pulling you, go to hell. Right? Like the other dog will, as long as you're going home, Maple will pull your ass the entire way. But Lady's just like, no, you're a strong, independent human and fuck off.
My dog loves inclement weather because his thing is getting toweled off. So,
my dogs love being toweled off too.
He's super into getting toweled down, and he understands that if the weather is terrible, if he goes outside, he will get toweled down. So he'll go scratch at the back door until we let him out, and he'll come around. We got a porch that he can let himself in on and sit at the door, and he'll come back in there, and then 2 minutes later, after we towel him off, he'll want to go back out again. So
it's like that feeding kittens thing tweet, except you're feeding massages to your dog.
Yeah, like he knows he can just ask for a massage too. Like we're softies. Like he can have pets. We will put a blanket on him and rub him if he wants. But no, he wants to be toweled off.
No, for sure. Dogs are so funny because it's like working with a computer that has a very basic operating system. Like it's recognizable. The way their brains work is recognizable to a human. Like it's obviously, we think in some of the same ways, right? But it's so simple. It must be so nice in there, right? Like it's just everything's right now. There is a vague sense of yesterday or, past, and a vague sense of future, but like there's nothing concrete, and it's just reaction, and you don't have to think, you just do. And that must be so nice. I really am jealous of dogs for that.
This is interesting to me because this is going to be stoner talk coming up. I'm not a stoner, but this is stoner talk coming up.
For the record, I'm not a stoner either, but I do like stoner talk.
Smell is a primary sense for dogs, right? So like they have a primary sense that not only interprets what's in front of them right now, but it actually does look into the past. So we don't really do that. Like we can make inferences from what we see about what happened before, but we don't have a sense that operates in the same way, where we're seeing things that decay over time in the same way that scent does. Whereas if a dog interacts with something, it's seeing stuff that is there right now. It's seeing stuff that was there 2 hours ago. It's seeing stuff that was there 4 hours ago. So in that sense, like their relationship with time has got to be different than ours.
Yeah.
The immediate reactions are one thing, but like their perception is operating on a different level.
Yeah, for sure. And also it's probably not always clear to them what's present versus past. Like obviously the intensity of a scent is going to degrade over time, but some scents are more intense when they're released than when they aren't, or some scents are more intense when they get released. So something that is really intense when it gets released could smell like the present, even though it's quite old, or something that is quite old could smell less older than it actually is because it was less intense when it was released.
Yeah.
Fluid.
Yeah. I mean, like it's got to be just a very different relationship with time and immediacy in a lot of ways than we do. And like you can see that the things that they react to as like react to now tend to be sight or sound cues.
Yes, like the delivery person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mortal enemy of all dogs.
Right.
Mortal isn't covering it. I mean, like the deepest fatwa you can imagine declared against anything involving a UPS, FedEx, or USPS truck at my house. Very aggravating.
Our relationship with dogs is one of the reasons why I'm not really exercised about kind of like the morality of us dealing with alien intelligences in terms of AI. Like we have a pretty good frame for this already, for something that is not a human intelligence, but is analogous in some ways to a human intelligence. And like we have a relationship with dogs that has spanned millennia now, that we've co-evolved with. And, not to say that it's a perfect relationship, but we seem to be negotiating some of the intricacies of that pretty well, right?
I mean, I lived with dogs who could recycle, right? You would give that dog an aluminum can, and if you gave him a plastic bottle, he'd just be like, what is this? But like aluminum can, knew exactly what to do with it, right? Like I have used the dog analogy for Claude a few times, and
the thing I always think about dogs is that like they made the single best conscious choice in evolutionary history, right? Like they opted into for all intents and purposes, right, permanent sidekick status for the alpha predator on the planet.
Yeah,
right?
They picked the right one.
They picked the right one, right?
That was not guaranteed at the time.
No, whatever wolf crept out of the shadows towards the fire, roughly, I think it's 8,000 years ago, it's something like that. Absolutely unparalleled success for like a single lineage to have made in the big game Darwin had identified us all playing. And like, I just think that's so cool and so interesting that dogs are arguably better evolved than humans are because they made that bet.
Yeah.
Right. Like they opted into like all the stuff we do is kind of like it's we have more agency over our evolution, especially now, than almost any other being that's ever lived. But like, I don't think it's the same as the opting into, I'm going to have a ticket to ride with the best possible chance of survival. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like, oh, check this out. They've got good garbage. And now I can't get them off my friggin' couch.
Raccoons are trying. They are trying to make the same bet, and it's not going as well. So, like, really, there is skill being shown here, right?
Yeah, we've got coyotes here
because it is impossible to imagine a human civilization on this planet without dogs.
True.
It's like I can't do that in my head.
I mean, like even now, dogs are still best in class technology for a bunch of things, right? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, like livestock guarding, dogs are the best we can do. That technology has not really changed in about the last 400 years. We figured out how to breed a Great Pyrenees. We figured out how to stick a spiked collar on that thing, and that's it. That's still what you do right now when you have sheep that you need to protect from a bunch of predators. Like, you put a big frickin' dog out there, you put spikes around its throat, and you solve the problem.
Or herding in general, right? Which is a technology that is, I would bet, thousands of years old. I don't know for sure, but certainly many hundreds of years old. You're not going to beat a dog and a handler at herding. Like, you're not going to, you can't do it.
I mean, but like, those are different hyper specialized tasks, right? You've got your heavy dog for protecting the flock, and you've got your light, fast, smart dog for, getting the herd to go places. And we've done a fair amount of like technological advancement over that in terms of both innovations in dog breeding and innovations in dog training. That, I don't know, at least for me, it doesn't always really parse this technology, but that's absolutely what it is.
100%.
We've built on the successes of the past to make a better world, and we just kind of get that. And like Ed says, it's sleeping on his couch.
Yeah, it's technology, and it's also like editing genes in a very lossy, slow way. But like anything you're doing with CRISPR is ultimately the same process that you did with dogs.
Right.
We made them what they are today, just as much as they made themselves that.
Have you seen like that stuff that like Loyal is doing?
Oh no.
There's like, it's still in trials, but there are medications that they are coming up with that for large dogs, like 40 or 50 pounds, apparently like it extends their lifespans by like 20%.
Holy crap.
Wow.
And like reduces cancer incidence by something like 40 or 50%.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, they go find our garbage, they sit on our couch, they get this before we do.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that, but that like small animal vet space has to be a really interesting place to iterate for medical tech, right? Because you've got significantly relaxed regulation for obvious reasons, but also you have a customer base that is willing to spend in a way that they're not for large animals. People treat pets like family.
You would not believe some of the stuff I have seen with my own two eyes. It's unreal how much spending power there is there. And the other thing that's weird too is that like some dog medications are human medications. So my dog gets gabapentin. He's got Moose has the nerves in his spine are degenerating, and he's lost full control of his extremities. Basically, like his paws always want to curl, so he doesn't do well on hardwoods. He's fine on a carpet or grass or whatever, but there's certain surfaces he just can't navigate anymore. And he gets gabapentin and canine equivalent of ibuprofen. And when we get him prescribed gabapentin, like we get it shipped to us, but sometimes the shipments are mistimed or whatever. And, so we have to get like a small, like a 2-week bridge prescription. And I get that filled at Harris Teeter. Yep. Because it's the same stuff that we give to humans. So yeah, same deal. Like, I mean, not that gabapentin is a breakthrough technology by any means, but.
I mean, that's still a medicine that is in wide use for humans, right? Like, yeah, that's exactly the same thing. Our last dog, this dog doesn't have separation anxiety. This dog could not the dog we have now could not care less when we leave or come back. But our last dog we adopted at the start of a summer. My wife's a school teacher, and that meant that she was home all the time during the summer.
Oh, no.
And then suddenly not there at all. And Callie went completely nuts. She did not care for that situation at all. So, we went and we talked to the veterinary psychologist at the rescue. They had a veterinary psychologist. She had a thick German accent and was very nice. and the vet psych said, "Okay, let's give her medication." We're like, "Okay, fine. We're gonna put her on doggy Prozac," which it turns out is Prozac.
Yep,
it's exactly the same stuff. So anyway, work to treat.
Ours is on that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes a big difference.
This is Normal Men, a podcast from four men who are clinging desperately to normalcy in an era when that's asking a bit too much. I'm George in Charlotte.
In DC, I'm Propter Malone.
In outer Florida, I'm low-tax speedrun enjoyer.
And I'm Ed in Boston.
We need to address y'all because these three numbskulls have been filling up the group chat about AI for weeks. And I want to address our listeners because there was an article in Bloomberg, rampant AI demand for memory is fueling a growing chip crisis.
Yeah.
And among those issues is that Sony is now considering pushing the next PlayStation back to 2029, and Nintendo is considering raising the price of the Switch 2. And I just want our listeners to know that I was against all of this. When the Butlerian jihad comes, please do not come from me. For our beautiful office drones, you should not have to listen to your boss and your coworkers send you emails that read like they read a thesaurus and then got a concussion. You should not have to make the world's worst pivot tables on a shitty 5-year-old Dell. You should be able to make them on a shitty current gen Dell. And for our beautiful gamers, I too want to play the Bloodborne remake, and we're not going to be able to do that because of these three.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I can tell you is that podcasting is done optimally with 128 gigs of RAM.
That's so many RAM.
What are you doing with 120? Are you starting your own fucking space program or something?
No, but Kerbal Space Program with 120 gigs of RAM would absolutely whip, I bet.
Yeah, probably. It's because at the time it cost $270 and now it costs $2,000. So you could also call it my retirement plan.
Are we actually talking about a 10X?
It's pretty bad. It might be 5X. It might have been like $400, but like it wasn't sufficiently more money for what I needed because I run like my entire dev environment is virtualized. So yeah, it was worth it to be able to throw an ocean of RAM at problems. I would love to be able to throw an ocean of VRAM at problems, but instead I have to go pay Anthropic and make low tax sad. But yeah, I just have one question, low tax. Did you write that down before you started talking? Because it sounded pretty rehearsed.
No, but I did think it through in my head for a couple days.
Okay. He's been working
on this. For all y'all out there, when you go to buy that 17th anniversary edition or whatever of Skyrim and you can't run it because you can't get the newfangled computer, it's these three's fault, not mine.
I would just like to say I am not super stoked about what AI is doing to memory pricing as a general thing. I'm not going to be generally excited about that. I am thrilled that we are preventing more people from becoming gamers or getting more gamery. Every Switch 2 kept out of the hands of an innocent child is a giant victory, in my view. And for that reason, I have no regrets about this whole situation.
I'm with you on the Switch 2. And the 7 people who buy a PlayStation 6 deserve what they get. But the thing is, you're not sufficiently dissuading them because what I keep seeing is people keep moving to just worse gaming environments. Like, they keep buying those mini PCs and Amazon says, these are gaming PCs. No, they're not. But really, it is impacting all of us, and that's very sad. I was shopping for a 5090, but they're up to about $4,000, and that's a little much.
Holy.
Yeah, no. I really should have just bought it at release. It would have been cheaper. Like, graphics cards are toast. The graphics card I have in this machine is up 60% or something close to that from when I bought it like last November. And hard drive prices are also toast, which is really fun. I built a NAS January.
A NAS is a network attached storage for those of you who do not touch computers.
Thank you, Propter.
And you shouldn't touch computers.
Yeah, well, at some point it comes for all of us. You're learning that now. You might be able to have the robot shield you from some of it, but at some point you're going to get a screwdriver, George.
We never should have taught sand how to think.
Yeah, you got it closer this time.
I'm a Mac guy, and so Apple was already charging prices like that for RAM anyway, so they haven't had to do anything.
Here's the wild thing. I have been pricing out Apple hardware for my lovely wife, and the prices are now actually pretty much in line. They really are.
That's crazy.
Like, a Mac Mini is now a decent deal.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not an amazing deal. Like, you can still get like a mini PC that's cheaper, but for what you get out of one of these things, no, it's actually pretty close.
So then, for the non-perverts who are listening to this but may have to buy a laptop or something like that at some point, should you buy a refurbished one? Like, is that the best way to go about it? Like, what's the best way to, let's say my computer craps out tomorrow, which these things happen. What should I do? Help me.
Take out a second mortgage? No, I'm not.
Well, my work would be paying for it, dude. Come on. But
So like, all the prices are nuts. eBay prices are going crazy. You can still get some deals on desktops that don't run Windows 11. Like, I run some of those for my server disaster downstairs. But you just can't get anything, right? Like, every part of a computer is now stupid expensive, except, oddly enough, the parts that were stupid expensive 2 years ago, right? Like CPUs, motherboards, those are still normal prices. But like, you can't get RAM, you can't get SSDs, you can't get hard drives, you can't get GPUs. NVIDIA seems to have basically stopped making them, except for their ultra budget models that use like relatively common RAM modules. For those who do not know, RAM, typically there's like 4 to 8 RAM modules in a given GPU or something like that. And so it's like, if they're all 1 gig modules, then you're going to be able to get, 8 gigs into there. And that's not enough for gaming. Don't let them sell you a 8 gig GPU in 2026. But yeah, like, you can't. There's no good option. Your best is going to be an outlet from Dell. But like, I was on there the other day. They're selling laptops with 8 gigs of RAM. Presumably because they're rating them for anything more than that to put into other models.
Well, DDR4 has gone up in price even more than DDR5, right?
DDR4 is no longer being made anywhere.
Right. So like, basically it's stripping parts out of one old computer to repair another old computer. So DDR4 is the last generation of DDR RAM. So it's a type of memory stick that you put in your things. And if you're using DDR4, you need to use other DDR4. So like, these things operate and it's typically a paired configuration.
Yes.
So
you always want at least 2. Because that's the other thing, is that like Dell and the rest of these charming people are selling them with single stick configurations, which means it is at half speed, which is, and this is a technical term, bad. The other really weird thing going on right now is laptop memory is not as expensive as desktop memory because they're different form factors, right? Like, a laptop has smaller sticks, and you can't put those into really any high compute system. So you can find those relatively easily. They're still expensive. They're still ridiculous. I guess if I had to go build a computer, and this is going to be going full techno pervert, so George, avert your eyes, I would probably, if it was for me, go buy one of those bandit boards off of AliExpress that puts a mobile chipset on like an ITX board for a PC. And then I would maybe be able to afford RAM. But then you're just kind of building a mini PC with extra steps. Right now, if you just need a computer, the only thing to get is like a mini PC with 16 gigs of RAM, or maybe 32 if you're spending. It's really rough. And it's going to stay rough for, 2 years? George, you probably know that better than me.
Yeah. So the reason Ed is asking me this is because the question of how long the memory market stays undersupplied for is obviously an economic one, a financial one. The way to think about this is that there is a fixed capacity for producing RAM and anything, obviously. But in the case of RAM or just chips generally, you need to do big, expensive capital investments to increase production significantly. A variety of processors have gotten a lot of capital investment, especially in the US, especially in Arizona, but elsewhere too. China, Taiwan, Korea, a bunch of different places have plowed a lot of money into increasing capacity for CPUs, GPUs, that sort of thing. RAM hasn't seen a big cycle yet in terms of investment, and it's really unclear how big the investment wave will be from the existing memory players. There's 2 Korean companies that are big here, Samsung Electronics, SK Hynix, and then there's also a variety of American players.
It's really just Micron, I thought.
Yes, sorry. So I was just talking about memory generally, not RAM specifically, but yes. So basically, there aren't that many companies that make this stuff. And if you're one of these companies, this is like a genuine economic problem, right? Like, what's the number? If you invest, let's say you double your capacity right now. Let's say that's financially possible. You go out and spend $100 billion on CapEx because prices right now, are way higher than whatever you could charge for the volume of that output. Well, what if prices drop? Right? Now you've invested $100 billion or whatever the number is into this thing that is maybe profitable, maybe it's not profitable anymore. Maybe you have to shut down production in order to basically not throw good money after bad. Forecasting future demand and setting your capital investment to that demand is really hard to do. There are tons of examples of this right now. So electric vehicles are one example. Electric vehicle investment was massive in the US until last year. What happened last year? Well, presidential election outcome, that really threw a bunch of sand into the gears of EV investment. So you've seen a huge pullback from, especially the big 3 in Detroit, but in general, there's a lot less investment in EVs outside of China than there was 12, 24, 36 months ago, because demand is not evolving the way they thought it would for a bunch of reasons, but they made a bet and it turned out wrong. Another example of this would be mining stocks right now, right? Like copper prices are at a record or near a record. They bump around, but they're near a record. But there's not a ton of investment going on in copper because we've just been through a couple big boom bust cycles in copper, and the industry's like, well, I don't believe that the demand's going to be there, right? Transformers are another great example. Natural gas turbines are another great example. Like this is a super common problem. And it's a topic for another day, I think, but there are some interesting ideas around how do you make sure that for really important stuff, like for instance, for natural gas turbines, which we need as the marginal producer of electricity on the grid, or for defense-related industries, or for the sort of very basic industrial inputs you need to build cars and houses and everything, how do you make sure that they don't ever doubt that the demand will be there, so that they make the capital investments that they need to make and produce the output that's needed to bring prices back down to a better level, but not necessarily crash them through like way too much output going online? How do you do that without doing a command economy, i.e. telling them how much to produce, or without creating the possibility for significant collusion that allows them to say they're investing a lot, but it's actually a lot less than is needed to fix the shortage? There's a bunch of different rabbit holes to go down here. But the
important thing, George, is that you just unveiled the option.
Lots of people had various bones to pick with the Jones Act. The idea was that by mandating this for ship transport around the United States, it would keep domestic shipbuilding at a level where if we needed to ramp it up big, like we did during, for instance, World War II, we would have kind of the seed expertise to be able to do that. and we would have some capacity already.
How'd that go?
Well, I mean, the World War II ramp up went great. We were really good at that. But
yeah, front end wasn't the issue there.
Yeah.
It's the long tail that gets you.
But like, this is something that, for instance, Puerto Rico, the Jones Act is a significant drag on their economy because they fall under the Jones Act, and they're an island. So what Hawaii that means is, Hawaii too, but Hawaii's a lot richer. So it's a little bit less of a problem there. What it means is that despite the fact that Puerto Rico is like right frickin' there and makes a lot of sense as a port for a lot of purposes, transport to Puerto Rico and from Puerto Rico is much more expensive than it would otherwise be because you have this very small subset of the world shipping stock that is available to transport to and from Puerto Rico. And also it's the crappy subset. It's old. It's produced by not the best, shipyards that are not making current technology. So like, you're not getting the same kinds of big ass container ships that are sailing the Pacific going to Puerto Rico as you might otherwise. And, that's a problem. That's a basic underinvestment in infrastructure that's happening as a result of this policy that we put in place to try to ensure investment in other infrastructure. So
yeah. I think the lesson of the Jones Act is that if you're going to do a subsidy to stimulate demand, do it directly. Like, don't try and get everyone else to pay into it as like a Rube Goldberg machine. Just say, we will guarantee that we buy X number of merchant marine vessels per year from you at Y price, and go figure out how to make them. And if you can't make them at that price, then you can't make a profit doing that. Fine, we'll raise the price after that. I don't know, however you want to set up that bidding system. But like, don't do it where you do that same operation, but instead of the taxes going through the treasury and then getting distributed, the payments going out to the shipbuilders, instead what they're doing is trying to get the shipping lines to pay more for American shipping and pass that on to shipping consumers. It's just like, no. If the priority is making sure that we have shipbuilding capacity, pay for it. That's it. And you still might have unintended consequences and messy stuff going on. And like, should we be subsidizing shipbuilding in the first place is obviously still an open question, et cetera, et cetera. But if you've gotten to that point and decided we need to guarantee a level of demand, do it directly. Don't do it the way the Jones Act did, which was, again, forcing people to buy capacity on American ships and therefore stimulating demand for those ships. And it's pretty bad policy, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like it's turned out to be a tremendously expensive subsidy compared to just doing what George is saying, where you just buy the damn thing.
And like there's plenty of prior art for like buyer of last resort type stuff, right? Like this is not even remotely controversial. It's just odd historical stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so there are some other issues that come up doing it the direct way that George previously gestured at, that, sometimes you get sort of these kind of kabuki situations where a producer is producing something that nominally fits the requisition target, but that doesn't actually do what you want it to do.
Sure.
And there's a lot of potential for corrupt dealing. There's a lot of potential for this to become something that becomes a government entitlement over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't say entitlement.
See, for example, industrial complex defense or procurement process defense. I mean,
I mean, DIB type stuff is an entire mess on its own.
Or freaking corn. Like we were paying a lot for ethanol because we've done political subsidies over time for ethanol, because at one point it looked like it was going to be a great idea to make fuel out of biomaterials. And it turns out that you can do that, but you can only do that with sugarcane. And we don't grow sugarcane. So
I mean, is that really why we went down that road, or is it just because of the Iowa caucuses? My view is the second thing.
It's a little from column A, it's a little from column B. Like at one point it looked like we might be able to get decent fuel out of corn biomass. And so we did a bunch of investment there. And then at some point we figured out, okay, this is just absolutely not going to work. And then we just continued to do the investment anyway. So
love that for us.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Meanwhile, like Brazil makes ethanol out of sugarcane, and they're doing very well with it because you can do that. You can make ethanol out of sugarcane. It has a lot of sugar in it. But
sort of. One of those companies involved in doing that got downgraded to, I think, I think they might have even defaulted in the past couple of weeks. I had some posts about this. They basically went all in on sustainable aviation fuel, which is one really useful application of the sugarcane to biofuel thing, because it turns out that we're just never going to fully decarbonize long haul aviation. Like, that's just not going to be a thing. But you can imagine it being closed loop, right? Like closed loop carbon, either synthetic fuels where you take hydrogen and a bunch of carbon dioxide and mash them together into a fully synthetic carbon-based fuel, or sustainable aviation fuel via sugarcane. So yeah, again, same issue as EVs, right? Like, demand just hasn't been there, and also it's been a big, expensive investment that just hasn't been managed very well. So it
doesn't always work out.
It doesn't always work out. It's not like Korean chip stocks right now. But in general, yes, like, you can make fuel out of sugar in a way that you really, really can't with corn.
So to circle back a little bit to our main topic of inquiry, which is, are we going to be able to play video games in 4 years? I guess my question is, it seems like there's a significant advantage to doing this CapEx when nobody else is, right? Like you want to zig when everybody else is zagging in this, because that puts you in position where if the market moves a certain way, you're in a much better position. And even if the market doesn't move that way, you're not in as much of an overbuilt position as you would be if everybody was doing the same thing you were. So isn't there
congratulations, Propter, you are now a value stock investor. Like, that is the whole thesis.
I mean, isn't there a significant incentive to I guess defect here, to do the different thing?
Yeah, but you have to justify that to investors, right? Like, you have to justify the risk you're taking to investors, and you have to, I mean, these are human systems, right? Like, there are individual incentives here that are very difficult to overcome. And in any, like, you see, every commodity market sees this cycle, right? At the high price for the commodity, everyone thinks the price can't ever go down because there's nowhere near enough capacity, and we're just going to, this is free money sitting on the table. So, like, of course we're going to increase capacity, and shareholders are asking management teams to increase capacity, and bond markets are incentivizing taking on tons of debt to increase capacity. And it's like a microcosm of what's gone on with Oracle over the past few years, right? Like, Oracle doubled in 3 months last year at one point, basically, and has since gotten cut in half. It's just that exact little microcycle playing out. Like, the demand goes on forever. You have to expand capacity. Like, the supply is totally locked up. It's never going to be able to keep up with demand. And of course, that's not true, right? Like, when prices are high, demand falls. Like, it always is the case, right? It always, for especially for industrial goods, like, people will find a way around whatever the high price thing is.
Right.
Second, like, production always comes online. People do not leave money on the table over the long term. There are behavioral biases that lead them to be late to the party. But if you are late to the party, that's when things top, right? Like, that last most expensive dollar per unit of output investment is the one that's going to be announced, like, when prices top. So, and then it all goes in reverse, right? And then the time when everyone's got all this excess capacity, right, is when prices are plunging, and then you can't add capacity because who's adding capacity right now? We're way over capacity, and then off we go. If you look at a chart of oil prices from 2000 to 2026, or 2025, 2026, you see multiple cycles like this, right? Where in the 2000s, oil goes well over $100 a barrel for the first time ever. There's a dip around the global financial crisis, and right back up over $100 a barrel. And then in 2015, 2016, Saudi starts pumping, and oh dang, the bond market's not financing our negative free cash flow Permian tight oil production anymore. And oh dang, we are producing way too much of this stuff. And oh dang, it's actually worth $30 a barrel instead of $100 a barrel. And then 5 years after that, we got Ukraine. Oh, Russian barrels are no longer accessible. So we're parabolic price action again. What happened? Demand was slower, grew slower. supply grew faster than expected, and now we're back down to $50 a barrel. It's all cyclical like this, and that's true for DRAM. It's true for agricultural crops. It's true for beef prices. It's true for oil. It's all for all this stuff.
And like for RAM specifically, to wander on back towards that, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that RAM mostly uses older nodes. Sorry, process nodes. I'm going to Propter myself, where it's like the relative size of the transistors on the chip. You don't need really, really high-end processes like the ones that TSMC does in order to do RAM. You just need to be able to do a lot of it. And that's why one of the tough parts for DRAM manufacturers in particular, and Flash is even easier. Flash is even older tech. But Chinese companies are coming online and have been through 2025, which means that there's a decent chance that they are going to ramp up as fast or faster than somebody like Micron's going to be able to. And then you're going to be in a spot where there's even more oversupply because they're probably going to be cheaper on a unit cost once they get there, just because they're not building factories in the US. And CXMT, their stuff is supposedly good. I've never used it, but it seems like there will be a gradual slackening, but it won't be anytime soon for Lotex's PS6.
President Xi, our gamers yearn for freedom. We're definitely going to do at least bombing, I think. I mean, you don't put on a condom unless you're going to screw, right? And we've moved like...
That was low tax speedrun enjoyer.
And we've moved like 80% of our air power into the region. I don't think they're going to do a ground war, though, because like where are the troops going to come from? You haven't done any staging. People seem to be talking about on Blue Sky a ground war. I know...
But that's
Sky
because
Martini,
they can't read low tax.
Yeah, I know. Sky Martini said he thought it was like, or they thought it was like a 20% chance of a ground war. And I'm sitting there talking with Mike Black, and I'm just like, where are people getting this number from? Like, there's no ground troops anywhere near this. Like, he's probably going to bomb some things, some supposed nuclear sites, and that'll probably be the end of it or something.
Again.
Yeah, I mean, the reporting today, and these guys are clearly just reading tea leaves and water cooler gossip from the White House also. So, like, I don't know how much credence to put in the reporting from today, but the reporting from today is that the White House has apparently ruled out commando raids in Iran.
Oh, okay.
So, great.
We got that. So that's good.
Glad that's off the table.
But it certainly does seem like we're gearing up to do something from the air. And, I still think that this is...
Like, why? Like, what is the victory condition of doing that? Like, let's say we go ahead and do airstrike. What is the goal that you're trying to get to with those airstrikes?
Sick videos on Twitter.
I mean, is that okay? I don't know.
I'm not sure I'm joking about that, for what it's worth.
I mean,
I'm not sure you are either.
Propter, say something smart.
Like, there isn't, but seriously, what does victory look like here? What are you trying to accomplish here?
Well, it's reason from Venezuela, where apparently the goal of Venezuela was actually to put somebody in charge in Venezuela who was willing to pay the United States, but also Trump personally, a very large amount of money through oil. Like, that was the ultimate payoff for Venezuela, is that
the oil that we don't want.
Yeah, the oil that we don't want.
Okay.
But watch it. So,
we're going to make it up on volume.
Yeah. So, if there's somebody who is willing to directly or indirectly put forward a bunch of cash money for us bombing Iran, And there are a couple of obvious suspects on that. I think this is getting a little bit too close to the throat for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but if they weren't worried about blowback, they might be interested in chipping into the kitty. Certainly, Israel.
A lot of soft targets that Iran can hit in KSA if they're the ones ponying up. So
KSA would like to not be blamed for this.
There does seem to be a lot of let's you and him fight going on.
Israel obviously wants this. They've wanted it for a long time. Iran did shoot a bunch of missiles at Israel. That was a thing that happened not very long ago. So, they had
a full-on shooting war for about a week there.
Yeah.
It wasn't total war, but it was pretty. It was a shooting war.
There were a bunch of assassinations. There were buildings hit in Iran. There was direct action from Israel against Iran, and there was direct action from Iran against Israel. Yeah. So Israel would love for this to happen. I've gotten some
Bibi's
pushback
been trying to make this happen for 35 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an exaggeration by a little bit to say that Iran is the architect of essentially all of the various paramilitaries that have been harassing Israel for the last 35 years, but it's not that big an exaggeration. Is the IRGC involved in Hezbollah? Yes, absolutely they are. Are they involved with Hamas? Yes, absolutely they are. This is not like big brain conspiracy theory stuff. This is an org chart somewhere in Tehran. And anyway, the other thing is that you have lots and lots of U.S. military personnel who have various axes to grind from the last 20 years against Iran, because the various paramilitaries that Iran has been sponsoring got a piece of them too. So the gravity of that situation points that way. Now, on the Russia point, I've gotten some pushback from various places. I think it plays to Russia's current advantage for the United States to do things that take Iranian oil supply off the board for at least a little while, because it drives up prices for Russian oil. Iran is nominally allied is too strong a word, but is friendly to Moscow. So that's kind of the argument against.
Perhaps.
For one thing, like Russia's buying drones there, right?
True.
So that's also important to the war effort. But my feeling right now is that what Russia needs is money. Mm. The best way for them to get money is for the price of the oil that they can sell to go up, and the best way for the price of the oil that they can sell to go up is for their direct competitors in oil production to take a hit. Iran is, I think, their most direct competitor in terms of selling to, for instance, the Chinese market, or in selling to the sanctioned market, let's say. So,
India is big for both.
Yeah. Any barrel that comes out of Iran's production is potentially market share that Russia can take over, and that's going to create upward price pressure for Russian oil.
Yes, but it also seems a little too cute, right? Like Russia being behind, or the ultimate source of why they're going after Iran. Yes, they would get more for their oil, which they desperately need right now in terms of hard cash. But let's say there's actual regime change in Iran after a massive U.S. bombing campaign. Well, that's a lot worse than some near-term financial straits, right? Isn't it? Because there just aren't that many countries that Russia can credibly call an ally at this point.
It pushes them further towards China. But if Iran is out of the sanctioned oil game and Russia is still in the sanctioned oil game, that's not necessarily terrible for Russia either, right?
Yeah.
Or alternatively, if there's chaos in Iran and it just drives down global oil production by however much that drives down global oil production, that's just fine for the other petrostates too.
I do think this is also falling victim to the cardinal rule of analyzing the Trump administration, which is, of course, that you should never assume there is a grand plan, because there is not a grand plan. There's no strategery. There's nothing like that there. It's just a bunch of random insane people doing random insane stuff. And sometimes that works its way up to grandpa.
Sometimes it's not because they're insane. Sometimes it's just because they're bribed.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be one thing either, right? Like it can be, hearing a lot of good buzz.
Some can be insane and some can be bribed. You're right.
But, if Venezuela is the model, like they've been talking up whatever Shah descendant they've got parading out, that this is obviously not going to work. This is obviously not going to work, but but we've talked ourselves into stupider things in the Middle East in the not too distant past. So
I don't know, that one would be pretty stupid, I think. That would be up there.
So the last 2 times didn't work. But what about the third time?
Did it work for them? No. But it might work for us.
Anyway, hopefully we don't do much in Iran. It's been kind of interesting to see how various Democratic hopefuls line up with this, because some people were standing closer to it than others. You're seeing, for instance, the governor of Pennsylvania has taken a relatively bear-huggy approach to military action against Iran. And I think that's a bad idea. I think it's going to functionally take him off the table for 2028.
He doesn't want to be president anyway.
That's what's going to take him off the table, or just the latest thing that's going to take him off the table? Because, oh, brother, there's a list.
I mean, he was clearly standing in a specific spot where the ball might bounce, right? Like there's a chance if things break just right that he's got the winning ticket. I'm not sure there's any chance the ball is going to bounce to where he's standing now. I think he's in the Rahm Emanuel spot now. And that's a bad place to be.
There's drawing an inside straight, and then there's whatever Shapiro was doing, and they are not the same
This
thing.
isn't even drawing an inside straight. He's betting on like I don't know, the Jets winning the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah.
With where he's gone.
Oh, the Jets.
Yeah, so we can't really say much more about Iran, because who knows what's going to happen, right? Like, maybe somebody hawkish will get in Grandpa's ear tomorrow morning, and maybe someone dovish will, and whatever.
I do know it's going to be stupid.
Sometimes stuff happens, and usually that stuff is bad, but sometimes it isn't, and sometimes it's bad but ends up being less bad than it initially appears. So, hooray.
I miss when things were usually less bad than they initially appeared.
I think Josh Marshall's law applies here. The stupidest explanation is the best.
Yeah. Yep.
We could talk Blizzard. It'll probably still be going for our northeast neighbors.
I mean, at least the digging out will be.
Yeah. How much are you going to get, Ed?
They've said 2 feet, and honestly, I don't think I believe it's that low. Right now, I would be happy if I get 24 inches of snow in the next couple days. Like,
we're just going to cut off the snow there. I'm just going to be happy I got 24 inches.
So apparently there are text messages going out for the power company from the power companies around me. I have municipal power, so they don't even bother to give me the heads up. But I guess, yeah. Hey, if you're going to lose power, it might be down for 3 to 5 days. And then there was a follow-up text saying, sorry, it might be 2 to 6 days.
Oh.
Which is not exactly how I would have done that. I'll be honest, I would have tried for a little bit better. But yeah, we're gonna get it's gonna be a bad time. I am supposed to travel into Boston, and it might actually need the verb travel as opposed to take the commuter rail on Tuesday, and I'm just like, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, commuter rail handles snow pretty well, right? Is it better than cars?
Yeah.
I have to get to it.
Well, I mean, again, that's what the Husky's for, right? So
again, she does not pull. No, like, remember how the last snowstorm, I had to send multiple emails to my mayor's office and CC the local paper to get them to snowblow the bridges that like the town owns and needs to clear. Yeah, it's going to be more than that. And it's going to be bad. I hope that everybody has figured out their propane stoves and bought a lot of weed, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever one does in igloo conditions.
It's not my thing, but I know a lot of people who live in Somerville and don't like them.
Here's hoping that we get you on the far side of the great blizzard here in DC.
By the time we release this episode, there's still going to be shoveling.
Yeah, you won't have power yet, but
this may be the last communication from Ed. We'll see.
You are not so lucky.
Here in DC, at least when we started taping this at 8 p.m., things weren't really sticking yet. So my kids have grown increasingly despondent as it becomes more likely that they have to go to school tomorrow.
They already canceled Boston.
Yeah, canceled New York too, and I guess they're closing the streets in New York. I think that kicked in like right now. It's 9 p.m. on Sunday. That there's a no traffic advisory. You're not supposed to bike. You're not supposed to drive. You're not supposed to do anything on the streets until noon tomorrow. So Mondani is taking bold action, which I appreciate. And here's hoping everybody comes through that okay.
You people wanted a war on cars.
Yeah. I did not see anything out of the city of New York because, strangely enough, it has not been the center of my universe. Was he wearing a fleece?
He was wearing an emergency management beanie though, which is arguably more serious than the fleece.
That is pretty serious, especially if he's still wearing a suit.
I think he was actually.
Yeah.
Weirdly, yeah.
It was a pretty good look. That man can wear it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
That's going to be our answer to the sweater vest that the Northern Virginia Republicans all get away with.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They're all being sent to very specifically black extradition sites by Spamberger right now, so you don't have to worry about the sweater vests anymore.
Inshallah.
Yeah, there are towels and buckets of water and various tools that don't feel good on their fingernails there. Yeah, waiting for them. So,
I can't believe we got the CIA in the national divorce.
It's amazing, isn't it? Well, down here in North Carolina, it was 45 degrees, windy, and full sun today. So we had a great time playing soccer this afternoon, and I am glad I don't live where Ed does. Sorry, Ed. I'm sure it's great for you, but good luck with that 2 feet of snow, buddy.
The alternatives are hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires.
None of that's an issue here.
Or living in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll take mine.
George, I think hurricanes might be a bit of an issue. You might want to ask your co-nationals in Asheville about that.
Hurricanes are an issue for other parts of the state. We have been hit by one significant hurricane in like the past 35 years, and it was weird. It was one of these storms that just, it's not like Florida where you go back and forth like 6 times a season. It's not like that. By the time a hurricane hits us, if it comes in over Charleston, it's burned off a lot of its energy. And by the time it doesn't hit us coming directly from the east because of how the Outer Banks work. So, stuff like what happened to Asheville, where really that wasn't just because of the hurricane. That was because they had a lot of rain and then got the hurricane with a lot of rain. That was like the big issue there. But yeah, Charlotte and Piedmont in general does pretty good with flood control. So yeah, we're chilling. We got hot summers, but
I will say, for the record, I did like Charlotte and have never returned to North Carolina. And so I'm going to have like, that's a nice little city. And then I'm going to leave it that way.
Yeah, it's not little anymore, dude.
Outer Banks are lovely. Really enjoyed them.
I've actually never been. It is so North Carolina is weird because it's very long, right? Like for me to get to the Outer Banks is a 6-hour drive.
Mhm.
For me to get to Charleston is 3 hours, and that's across an entire neighboring state. So yeah, it's a little odd. It's faster for me to get to DC than it is for me to get to the Outer Banks.
Wow.
But yeah.
You people in your large states, I'll never understand you. Why can't you just have 8 states in like walking distance?
Dude, you're from Maine. Maine is enormous.
You don't
Look,
want
everyone
the
in Maine
Senate
lives in the
consequences
bottom
of that
corner.
happening in North Carolina.
There are like 12 people living in northern Maine. 4 of them are like
French.
No, they're all French. Sorry. No, like 4 of them have been there since possibly the beginning of time, right? Like they don't have any teeth. They just go out and like that's all you hear. And then you go a little bit further down and you just get everyone who fled Massachusetts in the 90s. Or in my parents' case, the 80s. Though they're in Vermont now. Yeah, like it's Maine has like this tiny postage stamp of people, and you could still walk to 2 separate states from there, right?
Right.
Like New Hampshire, Massachusetts. You only have to be in New Hampshire for like 5 minutes. You can survive it, I promise. But like, why is this the counties thing again? You people and you're making counties mean things. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with some excuse for you to have such ungodly large states, and I just can't figure it out.
I mean, it's historical, right? That like all these states extended west indefinitely.
That's true.
Back at the start of the Republic, and some of them got cut off earlier. But you know, that's
Long Carolina goes all the way to San Francisco, pretty much. Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's why you've got Western Massachusetts, right? Because Massachusetts kept going west.
We call it Megachusetts.
Megachusetts.
We should go back to the long states. Because by cutting Pennsylvania up, we created Ohio. You all realize that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Should have
true.
left it for the Quakers. Things would have gone much better for everyone.
That's right.
It doesn't get better when you go further west. So then you get to Indiana.
It's
Ooh.
gonna be 28 here on Tuesday, but it's gonna be in the mid 70s the rest of the week. So
Are you
y'all
sure
have
you
fun
live in
with your-
Florida?
Yes.
Does that,
Okay, just checking.
does that mean comatose iguanas again? Is that on the table?
No, we don't have iguanas in North Florida. At
Okay.
least not yet. Give it
So
50
you-
years.
So you don't make good pizza, is what you're saying?
No, no one would eat that up here, but also no, we don't make good pizza.
For those that missed it, there was pizza parlor in, I believe, Orlando, somewhere like that. That
No, it was in Palm Beach Gardens, my hometown.
there you go. That
Got to get this right, George.
advertised that they were serving iguana pizza because a bunch of iguanas died during the cold snap, and people got mad. People got real unhappy about that. There were allegations they were running some sort of iguana farm inside the kitchen. They didn't actually end up selling any of them, I don't think. I think it was mostly a bit that got out of control.
There are, for all of our lack of regulations, there are some, and you do have to meet some standards in this state.
Do you?
Are iguanas like tasty? Is that?
I've never tried.
The only reptile I've eaten is gator, and gator's just chicken. So
Yeah. Gator's fine. It's inoffensive. Like,
yeah. I actually have some gator in my freezer. Yeah. Right.
It's really dense chicken.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's gamier than chicken, but it's chicken. I mean, it's not like it's
Right,
It's
right.
it's more chicken than turkey is.
That's true.
I mean, it's good when Louisianans are cooking it, but otherwise I probably wouldn't eat gator. Really.
Yeah.
Everything's good when Louisianans are cooking it.
I think
Yes.
if I had to choose, I think I would rather have gator at Thanksgiving than turkey. You're right.
Huh.
Look, it's more chicken, and chicken is better than turkey. Therefore,
But-
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Hell Machine
Are
is
you
going to
planning
come
on
for you.
roasting an entire gator tail? Because I want to see your in-laws' face when you serve that to them.
You could do that on a grill.
just get a China box. It's fine.
Yeah.
We've done entire pigs before. It's fine.
I bet you could smoke it. It'd be pretty good.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it would taste bad. I just think people would be a little horrified.
They should expand their horizons.
I'll let you deliver that message to your in-laws, not me, Ed.
Don't worry, they don't listen to the podcast.
Just before we wrap up this week, we're not going to talk about discoursey stuff, but I do have like a meta thing I want to talk about. There were some events online this week where a certain person got profiled and there was reaction over the way that was handled, and there was discourse around...
Oh, good. This is not going to be about the rice cookers and my microwavable bags.
No, we've already talked about that on this podcast before. We're not going to talk about your microwavable pre-made basmati rice again. We're done.
Just say I was trying to broker peace between East Asian blue sky and South Asian blue sky so that everybody would just get mad at me.
It was a noble attempt at sacrifice. And
a noble attempt at sacrifice in the process of doing something absolutely heinous. Anyhow,
George is so done with us.
One thing I sort of have thought about whenever, really, there's been a bunch of discourses over the past week, and there will continue to be, because that's what the microblogging site where the four of us met is all about.
There's going to be snow. It's going to be bad.
Yeah. People are going to be going stir crazy like nothing, and it's not going to be great. I think it's really, really important to keep in mind who your tribe is and why you're reacting to something in the context of who that tribe is. And I think it's really important to lengthen your context window, to use a phrase that Propter has applied from LLM sicko stuff to actual day-to-day life.
I'm sorry, low tax, you were right.
So much of what just the most like people going to the absolute mat over trivial stuff, or people being way out over their skis and declaring one thing absolute, whatever, etc., in really uninteresting, boring ways that are just pure opinion. So much of it is just, my tribe's into this and my tribe isn't into that, and so that's how it's got to be, and anything else is bad. And I think it's really important to not get trapped in that kind of thinking. So if you've made it to this point, we're about an hour and 10 minutes in recording, it'll probably have been edited to 105, maybe one flat by the time you hear this. But if you're listening to this, lengthen your context window. Like go talk to people about stuff that has nothing to do with discourse. Go outside, have a pet, have a significant other of some kind, have a child, have other extended familial relationships, talk to strangers, talk to your coworkers, read books that have nothing to do with politics, read books that have nothing to do with anything you're interested in, listen to the opera, listen to techno, listen to hip hop, listen to country, do stuff, like go out in the world. Because I think so much of what ails people these days and really stresses them out is that context window getting so narrow and so tight that the only thing that matters is that latest attack or support of a tribe, or attack or support of an idea that is personalized. And I just I get worked up online, and everyone knows this, but y'all, you can't be like this 24/7. It will drive you nuts. I'm seeing it in real time. And touch grass, baby.
I was going to make a joke about several things in there, but honestly, the message is too correct. I would also say that we are in a particularly awkward place for that, because half of the people we know are specialists in something, and so it's this is a message for us as much as anything else. But this is why this is
me talking to me as much as it's me talking to anyone else.
I fully understand. I fully understand. And
it's aspirational.
This is people are always on Blue Sky or whatever. They're like, how do you have so many hobbies? I'm like, because otherwise I would be insane. And partial credit. I'm not making any sweeping claims here. But if I didn't have 10 things to do, and the to-do list just keeps getting longer, I will never get to all of it. But if I didn't have that, I would just be the most miserable person on the internet. And instead I'm in the running for fourth.
Yeah. I was going to say fifth or sixth, but yeah, fourth sounds right too.
I'm working on it.
I thought that was very well said by George, but I just want to take a minute to acknowledge that the official normal men position is that you should go touch grass in the middle of a 30-year blizzard.
It was well said, George. I do want to quibble with it a little bit. Please don't listen to Techno or Country, people.
Sorry,
It's
man.
bad. Don't do it.
I do both occasionally.
I mean, like, look, if you've ever been to Europe, you've probably had a contact incident with techno, but you can be cured. There are ways.
Yes, in fact, I have been in that position, and the way you cure it is to drink yourself into a stupor.
Haven't we all?
All right, well, we're going to cut it off there for this week. Hopefully you had some fun listening to us yammer with each other, because we always have fun recording it. And if you did enjoy the listen, rate, review, share, do all that fun stuff. We hope that people can enjoy sitting in with us like we enjoy sitting with each other. So for Normal Man in Charlotte, I'm George.
From DC, I'm Propter.
In outer Florida, I'm Low Tech Speedrun Enjoyer.
And in Boston, I'm Ed.
Stay normal, y'all.